What's up? What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, man?
Or should I say, the naive ex. He still love me. I know he did that, but it's okay. What's up, baby? What's up? Man,
There's some breaking news, man.
it was. Go ahead and share with the congregation, man.
I don't have it quote by quote or word by word, but I mean, AB put a little IG message out there with a picture of him and Ben, saying that there hasn't been a better connection out there, and he's sorry for the things he did.
Didn't say sorry. He said I apologize, but all right.
Same thing.
No, it's different, but it's cool.
What do you mean, apologize and sorry?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I can apologize for just saying, okay, I acknowledge that I might have been wrong or might have caused some ill will. Sorry is like, yo, I'm remorseful for it. It's a difference, man.
I didn't know that. Okay, see,
That's cool,
that's
man.
the thing between me and you.
So how you word it, baby?
The difference between me and you is there's certain things that I see in that message, and there's certain things that you see.
Like
So-
the thing that I saw in the message was the opening line of mainly you, a little bit of me. That's an interesting way to begin an apology. That's all I'm saying. It's like, hey, Deke, I know I done smacked you 5-6 times. I know I done stole your lunch money, but it was mainly your fault that I did those things. So it was mainly you. I was wrong a little bit, but it was mainly your fault. That's what that just to start, that set the tone. I was like, wow, it's an interesting way to begin this.
My buddy DM'd the picture of it to me. All I saw was the picture, and I breezed through it, and I saw connection, and I saw apology. That was it. That is all I saw.
And then I said, we really get into the logistics of it. As we dug another layer down, I was like, man, we know Ben don't have social media. And the only the only semblance of a social media is the Big Ben 7 Twitter account that he already has stated numerous times he doesn't even run.
Right.
And AB is on all platforms, right?
Yep.
Twitter, Facebook, IG, Snapchat. He put the post on IG. Not even on Twitter. So it's like, if you really was to go do this apology to this man, why wouldn't you put it where he can see it at least? That's all I'm saying. But it's cool, man. Hey, I'm with it, bro.
I guess it goes back to what you said even about the whole juju thing, too.
Hey, man, I don't want to do that to you, man.
Listen,
you know what? You rolling with it. Let's roll with it, bro.
I'm rolling with it for now. Yeah, that's
man.
all.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, it's plenty of people that have walked in your shoes before.
Listen,
It's plenty of people that are currently walking in your shoes right now.
I don't think it's as bad as you say it is. Or you think it is.
It's all good. Listen.
I see a post, I get hyped a little bit, and
It's
then
whatever
I'm
you
on
say,
with my
bro.
day. I'm on with my day. That's
It's
all.
whatever you say. All right, you don't have to justify it to me. I'm not going to judge you in here. You don't have to justify.
That's fine. No,
I know you're ready to justify. No, he really loves me though.
No.
He really, really this time. Really. I know he had my phone number. I know he could have texted me. He put it on Snapchat. He know I ain't on Snapchat, but he put it up there anyway. It's a start. It's a start. It's a step in the right direction. I told you. It's all good, bro.
I'm not Ben though.
It's all good, man. I ain't tripping.
That's more or less the message being sent to
I'm
Ben.
just saying, like, for you, you know what I mean? Like, you were like, Gunno, like, oh, yes, bring him, the return. Sign him today.
I guess
you ready to sign him today?
I guess I do have to stay consistent in
You would've signed him last
whenever
week.
I talk about Steelers and the Steeler players. As fans, we are family. So I can't.
You was ready to
it's hard to
sign him.
separate.
You would have signed him 2 weeks ago. You would have signed him 3 weeks ago. You would have signed him while he was still in jail. You would have signed him then. Like, let's be real about it, Deke.
On a prove it deal. Yeah, something like that.
But then you say you care about that man. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Y'all don't love that man. Nah, y'all don't love that man at all.
Who?
Y'all fans. You don't love that man.
AB?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You don't love that man. Because if you love that man, you want him to get right. You want him to get healthy first before you put him back in a toxic environment.
Well, I told you.
Nah, don't you try to. Don't you do that on this mic, Deke.
If it can be
Deke,
both.
don't you do that on this mic, Deke. Don't you do that, Deke.
That's all.
Don't you do that, Deke.
If it can be both.
You would rather him play and ball out and self-destruct than not play and get better. Let's be real about it, bro.
I don't want to say that.
Because you know it's the truth. It's gonna sound bad, but you know it's the truth.
I don't want to say that.
And you're not the only one, though. Like I said, that's what I said, y'all.
Because
fans.
I don't want to think that I'm like that. That's all.
But
because I do. I genuinely do want him to get right. What?
Okay.
What was that?
Okay. Whatever you say, man.
I do, man.
Whatever you say, bro.
I do.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I want to get right. Yeah.
I do, man.
Yeah,
Legit, I do. I do though.
But would you rather have him playing and helping you win a Super Bowl, or not playing and getting right? If you had to choose,
I'd rather him get right. Legitimately, I'd rather him get right.
Okay.
Seriously.
All right. If you say so.
I'm serious.
Okay.
I think we're good at receiver. So.
Oh, now you think you're good at receiver? Yeah.
I'm just messing with you. Dude. I'm just messing. I do. I legitimately would.
No, it's all good, man. Because like I said, it's not. It's a lot of people, man. It is what it is.
See, I don't know if you're just messing with me or if you believe me or.
I know the truth. It's all good. I'm not tripping because it's not a surprise to me. It is not just you. That's what I'm saying. It's not.
Man, I don't know.
It's not just you. I mean, it's no different than when you watch it. You look, bro.
There's layers to Deke.
All I'm saying is this, though. All I'm saying is this. We've seen in some of AB's most recent situations, right? In particular, the video with the police officers, right? Mm-hmm. What were they saying in the comments, though? Oh man, you doing, man? You still the man? You killing it, man? You that guy? I believe in, yeah, man. All good.
I don't say that though.
All I'm saying is you're not the only one that views AB in terms of I would much rather him be on my team balling out and put everything else on the back burner than my approach of, I want him to get healthy and be good first.
I'm with you though.
No, you're not.
I promise, dude. I am. I promise.
Don't make that promise. Don't make that promise.
No, I am.
Promise. So how could you say you would wanted to sign him doing all these incidents? It was still times where you've been talking about this return while he was having sex allegations brought up against him. Charges brought up against him, and you're still like, hey man, chicks be lying, bro, bring them back. Like, bro, you can't say that.
You gotta see how the process plays out.
So seeing how the process plays out, but you're like, I was still wanting on the team.
No, I
want to play right now.
Well, no, here's the thing. No. Mm-hmm. With that whole situation, that's kind of different. That is definitely a different situation because you definitely have to see how the process plays out.
Only in that situation, though.
All situations, but so you're.
Not going the other day.
What?
That you good.
Stop, man. So
let's go.
The thing is, you see how the process plays out.
Yeah. And
you're just thinking down the line. All right.
Now it's down the line. So now you're gonna say down the line, D?
Well, whenever I'm talking about this stuff
you are
of
not
signing
down
him,
the line.
Dude, I am. I mean,
so you want to sign him today if you could? If you were Kevin Colbert and you had power to sign that man, you would not sign him today? So don't sit here and try to make this lie up, D.
I'm not Kevin Colbert, though. I know that. If
you were, would you sign him
I actually
today?
Don't think I would. I truly don't think.
Get out of here,
bro.
D.
I truly don't think I would because there is a big chemistry element to the team.
Here,
dude, I really don't think I would. I don't think I would.
You were wearing an 84 jersey 2 stealing games, even when all of the stuff was going down. What are you talking about, Deke? Stop it. Stop it.
I stir up the pot a little bit. That's all.
No, now you stir up the pot a little bit.
I do. I stir up the pot. Bro. That's all.
Listen, it's all good. It's all good. Nobody likes to have that light shine on the way. You're like, dang, am I really like that? Is that really me? No, man, I don't really be meaning it like that. Do I?
Dude, for real? Can I be both?
It's all good, man.
Can't you be both? Where good, I legitimately do want him to get right, but then I'm an emotional fan sometimes.
All I'm saying is, I'd love to see him. All I'm saying is, you can definitely want him to be right, but if it was a scale 50-50 right now, right? Mm-hmm. It's not 50-50. I want him to get right. 50 I want him to play. It's 70. I want him to play. 30% I want him to get right. Let's be real. You know how? But this is how I tell you, man. Seriously, okay. This is how I tell you. Because we talk about fans in general, right? We always talk about how they don't view athletes as people. They view them as the jersey number. What can they do for me, right? And we've had this conversation numerous times as well in terms of how people just view it as, I don't care if this guy's injured. I don't care what's going on in his personal life. I don't care about any of that. Can he play? We talked about the morality, right? I'm not trying to say, he has to be a good guy. Can he play? We've had that conversation before. So this is no different in terms of your feelings. It's just different right now because I'm talking to you about it, and now you feeling a little defensive, which you do, and that's why you're trying to go ahead and now you changing words like, oh man, I do care about his feelings. I do care about this. Where for a fact, we had a conversation multiple times, Deke, multiple times this season, where it's like, yo, Patriots released him because this is, man, we should bring him back. The return. Bring him back now, man. We need receiving help. Bring him back now. Oh, well, Deke, what about what he said to Ben? Man, it's all right, man. You don't got to like each other to play together. All right, well, what about Juju? Hey, man, tough love. Remember that? So all I'm saying is don't try to change it up now because I'm just having a conversation with you about it, baby. Just embrace you. Embrace it.
No.
Embrace your situation, baby.
I truly believe it can be both. I truly do.
Okay.
I don't see how it can't. Why can't on one end I'm being a fan, somewhat goofy.
No, the reason. So you asked why can't it be both?
Yeah,
I told you already. When you put a player in this situation, regardless of where they are, if they have any issues, they don't disappear because you get in the NFL. They get magnified because you have the money, because you have the fame, because you have the power. We've already pointed out multiple examples of that in his situation of recently, where that privilege, that power, that money has helped him and ultimately made him feel like, hey, I'm still untouchable. I'm still invincible. First we started, and you see people try to go with the whole, what was the CTE thing? Then it was, well, now it's the mental health thing. Well, now it's the, I don't know what it is. Oh man, I think he's back good now. Dude, we know for a fact he's still struggling. We know for a fact bringing him back to that limelight where people are back telling him he's the best thing ever and he's untouchable is only going to lead to him being what? Self-destructing. Him doing what? Something tragic. So how can you say it could be both in terms of him coming back and getting better when they can't happen like that at the same time?
No, I'm talking in terms of just how I'm thinking, or someone can be thinking.
If you say so,
dude. So no.
You're getting super defensive.
I'm not. No. I promise I'm not, because if it really came down to the end of the day, and you're telling me that, like, if you knew for a fact, because I could sit back and say, because I don't know AB like like you might know him. I'm just sitting back and assuming the best, being like you said.
Even though I've told you before, though.
I know, but if here's the thing. So if you're really like talking to me serious, like at the end of the day, like this would not be good for him as a person. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, like deep within, like that. I would rather him be right as a person.
I'm with you, bro.
I would, but
I hope so.
It would be dope for him to be playing the series. That's all. Like, why can't that be both?
It's all good, bro.
I want that to be both.
It's all good.
That's all.
It's all good.
But
I'm with you, bro.
I'm talking to you logistically, even. Come on, man.
I'm with you, bro.
Logistically, even.
Just give him 1 year prove a deal, baby. All right. Hey, man. As long as you just don't get in trouble during the season, when it's a rig, whatever else happens, I'm good with. It's all good, bro. I heard you.
Why can't I have that feeling? But like I said,
you can have that feeling, bro.
Dude, if I was the GM, legitimately, I don't think I would sign him right now.
But you would have signed him during the season, correct?
I don't think I would have. Maybe. I mean, we were struggling at receiver. We were struggling.
That's all I'm saying, bro. Stop it. We went down the list of like the players of, hey, would you, if this guy was in that situation, would you bring him back? You're like, nah. But because of him, you're like, hey, it ain't that bad.
So what? So hold on. Here's like a legitimate question then, because I'm telling you, like, you know, why can't it be both? Because I do legitimately want him to be good.
And I have told you multiple times why it can't be both right now.
But so what I'm saying is, so for me or as fans, like, what should we be doing if we're seeing this stuff? Can't I get hyped a little bit? And
you do what you want to do.
Okay,
you can do what you want to do. All I'm saying is don't get defensive when I just point out what you're doing. That's it.
Nah, well,
I just put a little spotlight on, hey, you say one thing, but this is what your actions are saying right now. And that's all I said, man. Then you got all, hey, no, not me. No, I would never. Like, but you just did. But no, that was different. But you just.
Nah, man, there's layers to it. There's layers.
There's layers.
I don't think it's as black and white as that.
Hey, it factor, bro. It's all word. Hey, it factor.
I'm just saying, because I'm not, all right, I see this news or I say, man, I'd love to have AB back. I'm not, I mean, my day
You are saying like right now you would want him back.
My day goes on. I really don't think it would be a good idea right now. See, like you said, dude.
You did not just say that.
Dude, you brought it up though. 6 months. No, that's the thing. I say it.
Oh my God.
I say I'd want him back, but.
Yo, what are we talking about here?
There's the duality of life, man.
Wow.
That's what it is. The rational,
funny.
The rational and the emotional.
You are funny.
And Probably if you're running an NFL franchise, the rational has to take over.
I already told you what we need to do. I know it can't happen, but I just want one of these seasons where everything that fans say should just happen. Fire this guy, sign that guy, trade this guy, give this guy next. I want that to just all happen one year and just so everybody can see full transparency. What did it look like?
We would have had probably no draft picks this year.
And AJ Green is our receiver.
AJ Green, but he's a free agent already. So
yeah. On top of him not playing at all last year. You would have signed back AB. Probably would have been on the exempt list, so we'd have been paying him to not play. Yeah. Who else? What was the other thing you said?
I wanted to trade for Diggs. Josh Gordon.
Yeah, he was going to trade for Diggs, Josh Gordon, and Josh Gordon isn't playing right now either. So that would have been another case where we're paying somebody to not play. Salary cap just shot the heck. Continue though. I like this, man. Yeah. Yeah.
The Minka deal, I can't remember. I
don't remember either if you wanted that or not.
I knew it was. I more or less asked you about it because I didn't really know too much about it. Well, because
at the time too, before the information came in about Sean Davis being like on IR, it was a conversation of why would you have both of those guys,
right? If
they're playing the same position,
but knowing he'd be hurt if I was GM, right? Then you'd make the trade,
yeah. And clearly that's why they had that information.
And Tomlin was really high on him too. It was definitely. Oh well, we'd have Bell. Somehow.
You said trade back for Le'Veon. I don't even know if James Conner was even in that factor.
Well, Kaepernick would be on the team.
Yeah.
Kaepernick would have been our quarterback.
I just don't know.
It sounds like a playoff team right now.
You said Deke. You said Duck was the guy though too. So you would have signed him up long term. You would have locked him up. Yeah.
No, not locked him up, dude. Duck being the guy, no way. The whole QB thing. That was just a year thing. Oh, no, all my other moves, those
was clearly a year thing.
Those are just year, but also potential down the line.
Do you realize the moves you just named, bro, would have effectively just give the Steelers program the death penalty? That's what you would have done, bro. Going forward would have been just absolutely destroyed. That would have been a lethal lineup. Player. How? Nobody would have been out there.
Diggs as our receiver number 4 or something.
Number 4. Who was number 1, 2, and 3?
I think AJ would have came back.
AJ is hurt. He was still hurt.
If he would have got traded to us,
so he would have been playing hurt. That makes a lot of sense. I think you said you care about people. Did you say you care about people? You just said, I care about their well-being, man. I care about who he is. I want to see him do well as a person first and then play. But then you just said, I know he's hurt. He'll come back. He can play. He can play through it. What? What are we talking? Are you not hearing yourself?
Dude,
fan is short for fanatic. You know that, right?
I think as a person, he would have liked to be in the playoffs and had a chance for a run. That's what I think he would have wanted as a person.
Whatever you say, man.
That chance.
Whatever you say, man. Whatever you say.
So yeah, it probably would have been a dumpster fire. We wouldn't be drafting this year. We just wouldn't be drafting.
You said and probably 0 draft picks. Trade them all away.
We'd probably be missing out on some in next year's draft as well. So that's what would be the case after this whole.
Didn't you say you was gonna trade for Odell too? There wasn't that conversation.
I think in the offseason we'd be looking at him because he told Tomlin to come get him. So.
And then he proceeded to tell 3 other teams to come get him.
I think Brady was there too. Yeah, I think he told the Patriots.
It's cool. But you saw what you wanted to see. It's all good, man. You are funny. I like how we were supposed to start this conversation off nice, smooth, chill, talk a little bit, and then you just breaking news.
Nah, dude, you brought it up.
You said breaking news.
No.
I said I'm talking with the naive ex, and you was like, well, we actually got breaking news. So yeah.
No, I was just giving context as to why you said that.
Our listeners that listen to the last podcast know exactly why I'm calling you the naive ex. They know from last podcast.
Maybe they didn't know about the news.
They knew about last podcast.
Maybe they didn't know about the news.
The news just released, so they probably don't know about it.
Yeah, so that's all. Hey, I was giving the context.
It's cool, man. Man. It's all good.
It is all good, man. Because like I said, my day goes on, and we got the team that we got right now, and I'm feeling good about it.
No, you're not. You're lying. It's cool.
February 21st. That's when I'll be feeling really good.
So I'm feeling good about it. No, you're not. Nobody is. We're all nervous. Yeah, it's all good, man. You're not the only one. I'm nervous as well.
Well, there's things that have been coming out in the media. Just yesterday, you sent me a tweet about it.
Yeah, man.
The guy on, what was it?
Former
Chris
Raven.
Canty.
Yeah. Former Raven. I think
Fox
he played
Sports.
for the Cowboys too, Chris Canty or whatever. Said he was getting
this type of crap fires me up.
He was getting information from the organization in Pittsburgh that is not. Excuse me, let me say it again. Chris Canty was saying that he's received information from people within the Pittsburgh organization that hope Ben Roethlisberger is not back next year in terms of potentially him retiring, because he's under the assumption that if he retires, then it opens up like 60 something million on the cap, which it actually does not do.
I was gonna say,
yeah, it would only free like $8 million tops,
even if he retires. Yeah, because he said in the segment that the $8 million would only be if we cut him.
Right,
but it's also if he retires, we don't get the whole 30.
So you're
million.
not getting the 30 back, so you're stuck. Yeah.
Which, yeah, they were spreading some fake news up there.
Well, yeah, well, at the time, this is the thing. So when Colbert signed him to the extension, it put Ben as one of the higher paid quarterbacks in the league at the time. He was going to average, I think it was 33. It was 30 something.
It was in the 30s.
Yeah, it was in the 30s. So it was good and things along that nature. But he also had a injury guarantee in there. And that was the caveat. So that essentially guaranteed that regardless of what would happen in this past season, if he couldn't come back, he was still going to get the $30+ million fully guaranteed to him. And that was the thing that a lot of people were talking about in terms of when you signed the deal. It was like, man, at the time, Ben's healthy. So at the time, the deal makes perfect sense. But if he were to get hurt, it kills you from a cap standpoint because you got so much money tied up into him. And even if you were to release him, even if you're retired, you're still going to be on the hook for a large portion of that money. And it just so happened that it was coupled with AB's $20 million at the time as well. Yeah. It was on the books. So I still don't understand where Chris Canty got that information from in terms of people within the organization not wanting Ben to come back. I know Aditi.
We need him.
Aditi Kikabale. I be killing her last name, but Aditi's cool, super awesome lady, man. But she had reports this morning that she had talked to somebody in the organization, and they absolutely said they don't know what that guy's talking about. And in fact, they said that they're extremely excited that hopefully Ben is available because they got a young core on defense that's proven it could be championship caliber. They got some pieces on offense that they're really excited about, and they know with the coach and with Kevin Colbert coming back that everything's in place for them to make a run, barring Ben getting hurt again or not getting cleared. So yeah, I'm not sure what that dude was talking about, man. But you know how it is, man. This is rumor time. This is the time where you throw out all your hot takes, all your rumors, and you hope something sticks.
Yeah, and that's all that was, because it didn't even, because he brought it up as if he retired, then they would get $30 million.
Right.
So it didn't even,
and they want him to retire because of that. Like,
so that doesn't even, so the whole thing doesn't even make sense, because knowing what you just said about no matter what, it's only going to be $8 million anyway.
Right. There's
no shot in hell you're getting a quarterback.
No, a starting like franchise caliber quarterback.
Right. No, 100%.
Yeah.
For not even $8 million, I guess you could take the $8 million plus whatever we have left over in cap. Correct. But it's still not even close. Not even close.
Absolutely. And that was the thing that when the article came, not even article, but when he said what he said on TV, a lot of us in the media world, because I was actually on air when that statement was released, and was kind of like, bro, that's not how that works. Like, you do realize like the money that was guaranteed, he's still going to be getting that paper. You realize that, right? You're not gonna just, let's turn it up and just give it away, man. He's good, he gets that back. Nah, that's not how it works. Now, the alternative, the only way that the Steelers could be in a better cap situation would be if Ben were to say, you know what, I'll take a pay cut. That's another option.
Just in general,
but it would have to be a flat out like, hey, I know I'm supposed to make X amount. I know this is guaranteed to me. You know what? Tear that up. This will be my new guaranteed amount, and go from there.
Never know.
So, with that being said, it's not looking like any moves are going to be made in that department.
Or you could do the, if I'm not even going to bring it up, but as like saying that Ben would do it. But Larry Bird, whenever he, I think he was like, he had a year or two left on his contract, and he was all banged up with his back. And it was something with, he was still going to get that money, but he just gave the money back to the Celtics. I don't know if that affects the cap still. If Ben was like, here, you could take the money back, but I'm sure it would still be a hit on the cap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He said, man, he would have to flat out say, I'm taking a pay cut, man, redo this deal. And yeah. But you know what? There is a quarterback that has done stuff like that has historically taken less, so that way his offense and defense could have more players around him. Yeah.
Brady?
Yeah.
I like Brady, man.
Yeah, man. I'm just,
What other quarterback has done that, though?
No other quarterback has done that.
Yeah.
That's why I laugh about it, because it's like, oh, man, just take that break, bro.
Breeze ain't taking pay cuts.
Nah.
Rodgers not taking pay cuts.
Nah, man.
Manning wasn't. None of those dudes. Eli Manning, I think he's the most paid quarterback.
Hey, man, nothing wrong with that. Yeah. He got 2 Super Bowl MVPs too, man.
Come on, dude.
He
Come
does.
on, man.
He does.
I have nothing against him.
He does. That's all
I
I'm
have
saying.
I have nothing against him.
Work ball, man.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just, I don't know. Hearing that, like him saying that, it just didn't even make sense, because we legit need Ben. We need him for next year. So,
like I said, it'd be different.
Just stirring the pot and getting people upset. And because I'm legit sure everyone outside of Pittsburgh is
I was going to take that as gospel, like,
and it's like, oh yeah, I mean that completely makes sense. Like, I'm sure
it was. So that came out, and then it was either yesterday or day before yesterday. Pro Football Focus. You know, you love that, the analytics and stuff like that.
I don't. Just when it benefits me.
So they released an article as well saying that the Steelers should. Let's see, what did they say? They said they should not re-sign Bud, don't re-sign Hargrave, cut Anthony Chickalo, and cut Mark Barron, and use all that money to sign Hunter Henry, the tight end from the Chargers.
All that money. Mm-hmm. Wait, that doesn't even make sense.
That's what they said.
That doesn't even.
And
this
is your group, and they were saying
that's not my group.
And this is what they said. They said, with Ben coming back off a surgically repaired elbow, you have to assume that he's not going to have the abilities that he once had. So it's going to be important to load up his offense so he can have multiple weapons. But because you're not going to be able to have the same deep ball accuracy and power, then you got to make sure that you invest in a tight end. And Hunter Henry is a guy who's had success. But the caveat is this: his best years were like 2 or 3 years ago. He's been hurt the past 2 years.
He is still young.
Yeah, but the thing is, when we're talking football, when we're talking like the NFL, when we talk stats, we don't care what you did 2 to 3 years ago. It's what have you done the past year? That's what it's all about. Like, what are you doing right now? So to make those type of moves and essentially destroy the defense, I don't get that at all. I'm not a fan of that. But that's what your boys say, because I know you like to bring them up, man.
I don't even know how that makes sense to where I think we could still have Bud and make some of those cuts.
They said no. They said it would be no need.
How much is Henry going to get?
I don't know.
What are they saying? He's going to get like 10 or 11 million? There's no way.
Well, why not? You said he's young tight end, right?
Dude, I would not pay him that. The only thing I would do is try to get a tight end for maybe 5 or 6 million.
That's one thing, man. But they saying that Hunter Henry's market is going to be different.
I don't want him then.
That's what they said, though, man.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna see the whole Bud thing, if you're gonna do
they
that,
said don't even tag him, don't even pay him.
If you're gonna do that, you better know that you're bringing in someone pretty elite.
But who are you bringing in?
No, that's what I mean. So don't do it.
Well, you talking about bringing somebody in elite on offense or what?
I don't know. Just someone to replace Bud's production. Either way.
Yeah. So literally, your 3 linebackers would be T.J. Watt, Tazar Skipper, and Ole Dane. And they essentially said that, you could just put T.J. out there with whoever, and it's going to be fine.
Yeah. No, I'm not really good with that. I would like to see Bud come back on the franchise tag at least, because I'm good at receiver. I'm good at receiver. All we need is like a nice tight end, like Greg Olsen, or we draft one in the 2nd round. Mm-hmm. And then we could look at running back maybe too, Le'Veon Bell or Dobbins in the draft. That's all. That's all we need. Defense is good. What's so funny?
I just love when you just throw these names out like, yeah, man, just,
because if they're talking about those cuts that everyone's been talking about, the 4 or 5 players. Yeah. If they do that, I think there's around 20 million in extra cap space. No. So Bud 14 million tag, and then you have some millions to play with there. And whether it's bringing Le'Veon over, whether it's drafting Dobbins, signing a tight end, there's a few calculations you could do there.
It's not looking good, man.
A couple variables.
It's not looking good.
Not looking good.
It's not looking good, man.
What do you mean?
Saying the people you talking about trying to get up, I'm just not feeling it right now, man. I don't think it's gonna happen, man. Money wise, I think it's gonna be a little tighter than what we would like.
Well, that's fine. And we could we draft the tight end. We can't. We just got that 2nd round pick, so it's gonna have to be a choice.
What are you saying now? Ooh. Ooh, it's a little different. Mr. GM, Mr. Guru. Yeah.
I got to dig deep in tight ends that are out there, prospects, and who's on the market, because there are a decent amount of tight ends on the market coming up.
True.
Hooper, Henry, Olsen, Eric Ebron.
Okay.
I don't know what these guys.
Those guys have issues though, man.
Issues in what way?
Well, Ebron is highly inconsistent in terms of his drops, but when he does get the ball, his playmaking ability is elite. We know Greg Olsen is really old and is coming off a couple of injuries. Hunter Henry, we already talked about his injuries as well.
Okay. So I think they're upgrades from Vance, though, in a way.
Well, it depends because
it depends on how much contracts they want.
Yeah, because I'm saying you're bringing in Hunter Henry and you giving him a nice contract like Pro Football Focus was talking about. Wisdom between him and Ladarius Green. Ladarius Green came over from the Chargers, was an elite talent, but his issue was what? Couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
He had the concussions and stuff like that. So that's the big red flag for me there.
Yeah.
And then when I look at Ebron, I said, okay, Ebron, elite athlete once he has the ball in his hands. Similar to Vance, when he has the ball in his hands, elite athlete. But what do both of those guys have in common? They drop a lot. That's all I'm saying, man.
Okay. But, I mean, those are some decent tight ends.
Name Waja.
I mean, who else are you going to get, though?
Hey, man.
It's either you stick with Vance or you try to get one of these guys or you draft one.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
For me personally, I would be looking more towards the draft. Personally,
for a tight end,
I would
just with everything.
Yeah, I personally would.
Would you make those cuts that people are talking about, like Barron, Chicolo?
Well, I think you're gonna
Vance,
have to, in order for
Ramon
them.
Foster.
Well, for them to franchise Bud,
yeah, you have to do that.
You're gonna have to make those moves regardless. You're not gonna be paying Mark Barron or Vince Williams. You can't pay them both what they're going to make next year and have that cap hit what it's going to be. They're both, I think one counts for 8, one counts for 7 million on the cap. You're not going to have both of those guys out there like that because one of them aren't going to be able to play. If Devin Bush is your guy, right?
Yeah.
So one of those guys is taking a $7 or $8 million cap hit sitting on the bench.
Yeah.
That's not happening. Talk about Chicolo. His number is the same range in terms of his cap hit. You're not doing that, especially for him to be your third linebacker. But you know for a fact that Bud and TJ played 90% of the snaps. You're not going to do that. You make the move with Ramon, but you got to do that because you still got to pay either BJ Finney or Matt Fowler because both of those guys, one of them are going to either be your starting guard or your starting guard and right tackle, depending on however they want to play it. But either way, both of those guys have to get compensated.
So you don't think any move in free agency is probably going to happen?
Not that's going to move the needle like that.
Okay.
I mean, you're hoping to get something for anywhere between 2 to 4 million. But the question is this: what are you valuing? Are you valuing upgrading your backup quarterback position, as we saw how important that was this year? Not only for us, league wide, we saw the teams like New Orleans who had a Teddy Bridgewater. Excuse me. We saw multiple teams who had adequate backups come in and produce. Are you going to pay a little bit more to get one of those type of people, one of those type of players? We saw how McCown with the Eagles, how he stepped up, played, had to produce. We've seen when you pay a little bit more for the backup, when you have to use them, it works out great. Are we going to take that approach, or are we going to say, you know what, I'm not all the way comfortable with James Conner right now. I don't know what I'm gonna get from Benny Snell next year. Let me go add somebody. Or are you saying, hey, I like what Deontay did late in the year. I saw James Washington ended with good numbers. Still don't really know what's up with Juju right now. Do I add to that room? Those are the questions you got to ask yourself, man.
No, definitely, for sure.
And that's why Kevin Colbert is who he is, man, because he's going to be the one ultimately pulling those strings and deciding what makes the most sense.
Yeah, and obviously I do want to add on and make the splash moves, but really if you told me what you're saying where we might not get a move that's going to move the needle, some type of splash move, I legit feel good about the roster that we have now, even making those cuts. I would feel really good about that if Ben is healthy going forward and then having the draft and bringing in some young guys. I seriously would.
And if he's not healthy?
Oh, man, dude.
I'm going to tell you right now.
I don't want to experience what I experienced last season.
If Ben is not healthy February 21st, if he's not cleared, then I'm taking all that extra money that I'm gonna have after I sign Bud to that tag.
You gotta trade for Stafford or something.
No, I'm not trading for Stafford, but the money that I have, I might have to make an extra cut to get in that $8 million range. Try my best to get there, and then go pay for a legit backup quarterback. Like that's what I'll be doing.
I'm hoping that Mason would be the starter then.
No, I'm saying like when I pay $8 million, that guy's gonna be my number 2 quarterback on the depth chart.
Oh, you're saying Ben could still
number 1, but like you would anticipate like, hey, Ben at some point could potentially return.
We'll get cleared eventually.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
But I'm gonna make sure that if it's gonna take this long, then I'm gonna make sure I got a legit guy, because even when he is clear, as we talked about before, even when he is able to start taking snaps, even when he is practicing, is it different when you have the wear and tear of playing in games? Is it different when you're throwing the ball that many times in a game, when you're getting hit? It's not the oh man, nobody touched Ben, he got the red jersey on. It's not that when you're in a game.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I got somebody in line that, hey, if he has to go out there and play a long period of time like we saw this season, that I'm extremely confident in his ability.
Yeah. Now I read something before coming over here. I brought up Jake Delhomme. I got another source on this whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Jake Delhomme, it's Joe Montana.
Okay.
He said with, how technology and science is these days, sometimes the arm can come back better than ever. So that's what I'm... Joe Montana said it.
Joe Montana,
how about
referencing
that?
Science, technology. All right.
Dude,
whatever you say.
Man, February 21st is coming up. So that's all.
I was gonna say whatever you say, bro. So Joe Montana says science and technology, bro. So it's got to be right. Mm-hmm.
He had a similar issue. That's kind of why he was talking about it.
A similar issue or the issue?
It was something with his elbow. I don't. He had to sit back.
He had to just rest it, or did he have surgery?
I think he had surgery. But like he said, the science wasn't there like it is now.
Whatever you say, man.
And he said he was good back then.
That's cool, bro.
He ended up going to the Chiefs cool, and he made a Pro Bowl.
That's cool. I mean, he also said that Brady shouldn't leave because the grass isn't always greener. You got something great in New England, and he doesn't want Brady to end up like how he ended up going into Kansas City. Because he was still a little salty about Steve Young coming in and winning some championships right after he left. It's cool, man.
Yeah, that's another situation. Yes, I'm looking forward to talking about that whenever you're ready.
Oh man. You're funny, bro.
I'm sure that'll be coming up.
You're funny. You are funny.
So what do we got next,
man? So just talking about also like we just said with the roster,
quarterbacks,
right? Quarterbacks and stuff like that. What's your mindset in terms of how you're gonna build this roster up next year?
I think we're good.
They're good. You just rock with Ben.
I do. Like I said, I mean, everything else will be house money to me. And if we somehow do get Le'Veon, or if we do get one of these tight ends, and then whoever we draft, I mean, I just feel like everything's house money. I didn't really pay too much attention or know about the offensive line situation. Yeah. So you brought that up. That's definitely something else to consider, which is why the splash move might not be made. But I just feel good about the roster. Now, if you're asking 2-3 years down the line, I don't know, man. I really don't know. We got to see how this season plays out.
I mean, I think we all can agree it does hinge largely on Ben's health.
Yeah.
But I still personally don't think that if all our eggs are in the Big Ben basket, that's going to end well for us. I think we do need to address some of the issues offensively that we've talked about in terms of tight end, in terms of figuring out this running back situation. James Conner has to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, that's different. If not, though, we saw what the running back room looked like this season, how they won multiple games without having a 100-yard rusher.
Yeah.
Even having 100 yards total on the ground. Like, that can't happen if you're trying to win games. We also see with Le'Veon, I mean, we're hoping that a deal could get done where he could be traded back. But you have to remember, for them to trade him to us, what are we giving up?
I mean, I'd give up a second rounder.
Okay, so then how are you adjusting that tight end position again that you're talking about?
Third round. That's why there's more rounds.
Stop it. Stop it.
What, man?
It doesn't work that way. That's all I'm saying, man.
That could be a good tight end in the third round.
It doesn't work that way. That's going to come in day one start.
Man, you just got to trust the scouting.
You could trust the scouting. Even Devin Bush, the 10th overall pick, we talked about earlier in the season. He was not ready. We talked about earlier in the season some of the struggles that he was having.
Might need to.
He was a top 10 pick.
Might need to trade next year's first rounder or something.
Oh God.
That's all.
And then we'll be having this conversation again when it's like, well, dang, Ben came back and looked terrible. Now we need to draft a quarterback. We don't have a first rounder to get a quarterback. What are we gonna do now?
Yeah, I mean,
you see how this goes?
we might be a little light at one position or two. That's all.
All right.
That's all. But you deal with that. Okay. I mean, through our Super Bowl runs, the offensive line was a little light.
Okay.
We didn't have the best O-line, so it happens. You just make up for it other ways. That's all, man. I do like our squad.
The first
right
one,
now.
The second one, which one?
Second one.
Second one. Okay.
Second one. First one.
What we like that first one? I just want to hear you say it. That's it.
Oh no, it was an awesome team. All right. What?
Whatever you say, man.
What do you mean?
Whatever you say.
Might have been late at receiver.
Oh, that was a receiver.
Cedric Wilson was our second receiver.
Who was the first receiver?
Hines.
Oh, okay. So you were like a receiver there.
I mean, Hines was no Marvin Harrison or.
He's a Hall of Famer in your book, right?
Yeah.
All right, that's what you're saying.
No, man, we had a young QB that was.
You said Hines was like a receiver. Wasn't Hines the Super Bowl MVP that year?
We had a young QB who was shown to be a prodigy. I remember that, and the team was awesome.
You're funny.
Just a little bit late at the wide receiver too. That's all.
Oh.
We made up for it in other ways.
Okay, whatever you say, man. Whatever you say. You're funny, bro.
Nah, man, I ain't that funny. I ain't that funny.
Hey, man,
just me.
It's all good. But I do think
so. Yeah. So what do you think? I feel good about it. Even if we do have to be light at one position. So what? I mean, how would you configure this then?
Man, for me,
I feel like you actually could probably be a GM.
I would never want to be a GM. Not a chance.
No, I feel like you could be a good one.
I'm good on all that, man. I play Madden like you, bro. I'm just gonna trade everybody, bro.
In terms of wanting to do it and putting all that work in, I mean, yeah, it's probably pretty stressful.
Just trade draft picks will be good. Just trade our second through the whatever draft picks we got, and we'll just get guys like that. That's the approach I'm taking. No, man. First off, I think you got to shore up the offensive line, though. Understanding that if you're gonna cut ties with Ramon, you have to hope that BJ Finney or Matt Filer will take less than their market value. Now, there's no guarantee that'll happen. We saw how Chris Hubbard, he was priced out. He couldn't. Like, the amount that he was getting from Cleveland, there was no way that the Steelers could pay him that. Matt Filer just started 15 at right tackle, and he started one game at guard.
He played pretty good, too.
Exactly. So you're going to have to pay him somewhat near market value in that regard.
Yeah.
BJ Finney. He's another guy that they've loved who's proven that he can step in at any time and play well. He's played for Marquise Pouncey anytime Pouncey's been hurt. He's stepped up in a big way. He started at guard or center. So either way, you either want to keep both of those guys and try to keep the O-line as intact as possible, or you let BJ walk or you let Matt walk and hope that either Chooks Okorafor or Zach Banner can come in and start as your right tackle for 16 games. That's a tall task. That's all I'm saying.
I've seen Banner's IG, man. He's working hard.
Hey, man, a lot of guys work hard, man.
Dude, he came on, did a great interview with us.
I'm with it, man. Hey, look, I would love for
good
him.
Story, motivated.
Listen, I would love
I like
for
all
him.
that stuff.
I would listen. Anybody that comes on the podcast, I want them to be successful. Period. I would love for him to be the guy. All I'm simply saying is not as easy as some people think of. Just, oh man, he works out, he got abs, plug him in there and play. Like, you know how many action figures I've seen throughout my 9 years? Ton of action figures. Now it's different being a ball player, but ton of action figures. They look great. Check all the boxes, man.
I'd be fine with that. Like I said, we're not going to be able to get everything we want.
Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, the running back room, man. It just depends on how you feel about James Conner. That's the big thing right now.
He looked good in the last couple games he played before he got hurt in those games. Like he definitely showed like he was a step up from the other two backs.
Like talent wise, he is the best running back on the team. But it's the health that's holding everything back with him. I mean, if he was healthy, let's be real, this team, I think, looks drastically different even without Ben. If he's healthy, even the year, not this past season, but two seasons ago, a season ago when AB was still on the team, if he's healthy throughout that whole run, I think that team looks different. But he hasn't been. So trying to factor in how that plays out, trying to factor in how big of a role are you carving out for him when you're going into a game and he's game planning to be the feature back and he plays 9 snaps and then turns around and plays another game where he only plays 15 snaps and he has another game where he only plays a half. Like, that kills what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
So you really just have to, that's a conversation the coaches have to have, and they got to be honest. And that's a conversation that they got to have with him because Church, he's not trying to go out there and get hurt. He's not trying to miss time. I mean, if anything, he's probably been a victim of coming back too soon sometimes.
Yeah, the Browns game.
Yeah. But when you do those type of things, you put this organization in a bind in terms of how they construct their roster, in terms of the moves they need to make going forward. Because if he is the guy and he is healthy, well, then you don't need to go out there and pay for a running back. You don't need to trade for a Le'Veon. But if he's not, and now he puts you in the same situation you've been in the past 2 years, well, now the cycle continues for a third year, and you're hoping and praying that Benny Snell can step up.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big issue right there. The tight end position. If you feel like you're not upgrading, if you feel like you're only making lateral moves with some of the guys we've named, you might as well just stick with Vance, because at least you know Vance and Ben have a rapport. Mm-hmm. You know Vance and Ben, they have a relationship. So if I'm going to have to pay one of these guys that $5 million range, at least let me stick with what I already have.
Yep.
Because if I cut ties with him, and now I'm trying to hope that one of these other guys come in and they work out, am I really ready for Zach Gentry to be the guy?
No.
If it doesn't work out, I'm not ready for that. Am I really ready for Cortland Scotland Williamson?
Who's that?
He was the international kid coming from it was like London, I think it was. He's on the roster. He doesn't he gets the program exemption, for any other international players. So it's I'm not ready for him to be the guy either. No. You already cut ties with Xavier Grumble. So it's just not looking good in that department right now. No. And for those people that are going to say, what about Jalen Samuels? Jalen Samuels is a running back / H-back. Don't you ever think that he could play tight end in the NFL, because it is a big difference. Just wanted to clarify that.
You know where they get that from probably is Madden.
Yes, because it says tight end. I already know.
Well, you could put him there, and he's pretty good. If you have a 2 tight end set, you put him on the outside.
I know.
He beats those linebackers.
I know, bro. I'm just simply saying this is real life. It's different. That's all I'm saying, man. It's a difference.
Nah, I get it.
It was kind of like when I saw people saying, well, Ryan Shazier is fast. Why can't we put him at safety? No. What are we talking about here? It's different.
Yeah.
So that's my issue with the tight end position. I do think tight end is the biggest point of need right now, or position
you would
of
do
need.
that. Yeah, if you had to rank it, then you would put
tight end first,
line first, tight end, running back.
Well, when I say the biggest need
outside of what we already have,
this is the thing: offensive line isn't the need right now, because if you don't do anything and you bring back Ramon, you still have the line intact. Even if Ramon walks, you still already have pieces here that you have already seen. They're proven.
Yeah.
They can play that position. So that's not a major concern.
We just might be a little weaker on the right side.
It's just okay, well, how do you make that deal work? How do you make those numbers work? Even with it potentially being a new right tackle, I still believe in DeCastro. And DeCastro plays on that right side as well. So that's going to help him out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at that. And then the left side, you got Al and Pouncey in the middle.
Yeah.
So they can help out for that new guard. So I'm not concerned about that with whatever you want to do in that room. Running back. I think running back is the number 2 concern, though.
Tight end
is 1. Running back is 2. Just because of the health concerns that we talked about. In the NFL, they tell you the best ability is your availability. And it's a true statement, regardless of how nice you are, regardless of how fast or how elusive and whatever else you may be. Percy Harvin is a prime example of that. Elite talent when healthy, but he missed a ton of games. And it's hard to invest so much money, have so much money tied up into a person that isn't on the field helping you out. Cam Newton, he's another guy. Why do you think they're talking about potentially him being moved this offseason? Because he's taking up a ton of money in Carolina, but not playing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And then I put receiver at 3rd, man. I think when we talk about that receiving room, you're excited about Deontay Johnson. You're excited about James Washington. Sure. Juju's the biggest concern, though. Is Juju a 1 or is he a 2? If Juju's a 2, well, then you need to make a move to get a 1. If you believe Juju could be a 1, well, then you're fine. The thing is this, and this is a conversation that he's going to be having when it's time for negotiations, is what? Well, man, I could be a number 1. Well, what are your numbers when you were the number 1 receiver? They were bad. And then you can say, well, my numbers were good a couple years ago, but who was he with? AB, and he was the number 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest question mark with him right now. And as fans, sometimes we all just from the heart, like, oh, we really like this guy. So you're like, oh, he's number 1. We got to like him. He's the guy. But when you just look at it from the non-biased perspective, it's like, has he shown you that he can be that yet? And that's the other concern. Now, I know we could talk about the quarterback situation, but then the rebuttal to that would be what? James Washington and Deontay Johnson had the same quarterback issues, and they were producing. So for me, that's kind of how I'm looking at all of that.
He was hurt a little bit too.
A lot of guys were hurt.
But it goes back to your whole availability thing.
Mm-hmm. So that's how I look at it, man. I go tight end, running back, and the receiver.
Okay. So you're good with the defense.
Yeah, I think.
In terms of letting Hargrave go.
Yeah, you let Hargrave go because you have Tua coming right back next year. You assuming that Tua is going to be healthy and good to go. Him come back from a pec injury, I do have a lot more confidence in him returning to form from that, especially with me dealing with the same injury versus Ben coming back and being 100% from his elbow injury. So that's why for me, I'm like defensively, I probably cut ties with Mark Bann because I believe Vince is the thumper. I believe Vince is still the heart of that defense. Devin Bush, you're going to leave him out there 100% of the snaps this next year coming up. You have to make the move on Chicolo, and then you just hope that Bud and TJ can stay healthy and that Ola and Tazar can develop behind them.
Yeah.
You might draft a guy in the 5th or 6th round just to bring in a little competition for those two guys, especially since both of those guys don't have high draft pedigree in terms of Tazar and Ola. But other than that,
and then letting Mike Hilton walk too, and Cam Sutton becomes that guy.
The thing, even with Mike, I first tried to see if I can get a deal done with Mike, but it would need to be a deal that can be team friendly.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. Because in terms of Mike's market, you could let Mike test the market to see what it's like, but then ultimately still end up having him sign back. Because it's different when right now we're sitting here and it's like, oh, Mike Hilton, man, shoot, man, I did this. I got these numbers. I got these sacks. I could tackle. But then you go to other teams where they don't view that position the same way. Like Chris Harris, for example. Remember, he was balling out in Denver, and Denver still gave him a very low-level cornerback deal. And then he ended up having to hold out for a little while, and then they gave him a little bit more. But he's an elite-level coverage corner. Like, he could play in that slot and legit just lock guys down. Nickel Roby-Coleman, he's another guy like that. So it's like, when you look at those two type of guys, they're drastically different from what a Mike Hilton is, who's more of the physical, blitzing, getting sacks, a lot of plays in the backfield type of nickel. So it depends on what teams view him like that. And then also, what's their money situation like? If the money isn't hitting like that, well, then he's going to come right back calling.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, we might get a deal done with that. So I'm still not all the way closing the door on him. But the beauty of the Steelers' situation is they still got Cam Sutton under contract.
So you would be good with that.
A little more hardball with Mike. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Man, it doesn't look like any crazy moves are going to be made. When you really break it down.
But you say that in a bad way. For me, I always
No, that's what I said, though. I really feel good about like the roster, how it is.
When you make crazy moves, when you try to make all these splash moves, I've been a part of organizations where you do that, and it doesn't work out. Sometimes you need to just be sticking to the course, slow and steady, understanding the draft, understanding development, and developing those players. Understanding, okay, if I'm going to go free agency, buy low.
Yeah.
Like, that has to be the move. Not, hey, let's trade for AJ Green. Oh, let's get this guy Odell. Oh, let's try to get that guy. That type of stuff doesn't work, man.
I'm trying to change my way of thinking.
No, you're not, man.
I'm trying.
You're not. It's all good, little man.
You
Deke, man. Deke is Deke.
We just need some juice in the offseason, man.
Oh, stop it, man.
That's all.
I don't want juice in the offseason. I don't want juice at all.
But seriously, I mean, I know we talked about with the receivers and the running backs. You know, I'm just gonna say I'm hopeful. I'll just put it that way because there are those question marks. But then I'm just gonna say I'm hopeful Juju's gonna turn it around this season. Hopeful that James Conner would stay healthy and be back to his normal self. So there's definitely some question marks, but I'm feeling good all around because that's just me.
All right. I can dig that, man.
You know how it is.
Yeah, I can dig it, man. Now, the last thing we want to talk about, this is more national news right here, man. Kind of quarterback, receiver, running back, just do it all athlete. Taysom Hill with the Saints coming up. He's actually a restricted free agent. Just talking with ESPN, told the guys that
you're laughing, man.
I laugh just because of how it comes out in terms of like 1 minute he's saying, "Hey man, I love New Orleans. It's been great for my career. I would love to stay here." But then he proceeds to say, I believe I'm a franchise quarterback. I believe that I could be a franchise quarterback, and that's ultimately my goal. And if I cannot get that in New Orleans, then I will leave. And for me, I just laugh because I'm like, dang, dude, like what makes you feel that you could be a franchise quarterback? Personally, but now he was extremely pivotal in the Saints' success this year. I mean, he's accounted for a ton of. Don't make that face. He accounted for a ton of their touchdowns, throwing, running, and receiving. Don't even play. Don't even play.
Translating that to franchise QB though,
that's the part that I was a little surprised by, especially when you have a guy like Teddy Bridgewater who was on the roster during all that time. Now, granted, they still were both not splitting time, but they were both getting some snaps during that period of Drew Brees going down. But Bridgewater was the guy at quarterback then.
Yeah. I think he only made 5 pass attempts though this whole season.
This season. But throughout his time in New Orleans, he's had success.
I mean,
he's had success.
Throwing the ball.
He has had success.
In the regular season.
We all talk about it. We're always like, dang. Oh, that's a dime. Oh, dude, look at the pass.
I would look at it. I don't think his stats are that crazy for passing the ball.
It's not going to be crazy in terms of 30, 40 attempts.
He's been better. He's been better as a receiver and running back.
They use him in all those ways. He blocks,
not necessarily running
kicks.
back. I'm sorry. Like,
all right, he blocks, cover kicks, he throws the ball, catches the ball. He literally does everything on offense for them guys.
Yeah. I got nothing against them. I just think it was kind of a bold statement because, I mean, who's going to take them this year in terms of quarterbacks? Usually it is this way just because teams are in flux.
Right.
They're either going to be drafting a new guy, bringing a new guy in. Like, where's he going to fit in this whole situation, this whole equation? I just don't really understand. If you're saying franchise quarterback, that's probably going to mean you're going to have to compete for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, someone's just not going to be.
He can do it full time just yet.
I mean, if he wants that type of situation, then I say go for it. If I'm the Saints, dude, this is just me. You might be on the same page with me because you're a Brees fan. I mean, I would take him back in a heartbeat.
Take who back?
Brees.
We understand
dude,
that,
but I'm not kidding
Brees
you.
right now, he hasn't said if he wants to come back or retire just yet.
Yeah, but no, I'm not kidding you. There's people that are saying on all these sports networks like they should just move on from Brees.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
And either go with Bridgewater or go with Hill. Like, that's kind of like the debate.
I've seen them say bring them both in terms of Bridgewater and Hill and have them both compete for the spot.
Nah, man. Yeah. I would just roll with Brees if I was that. I would rather take 1 year Brees guaranteed over signing Bridgewater or Hill and whatever unknown could come with that.
Okay. Now, would you bring Taysom Hill to be a backup here in Pittsburgh?
Ooh. Dude. Depends on what he wants. If he wants like 600,000, yeah.
What?
We just talked about all this cap stuff. I don't know how the heck
600,000. His minimum is going to be higher than that. And you already know he's a restricted free agent. So
I
if they
said
put
that
a
number.
Second round grade on him, he's going to be at least $2-3 million.
I said that number just because I think that's what he makes now, but I just don't know how the cap would work.
Well, we talked about it,
so we don't need him.
Oh, okay.
Would I take him? Yeah, sure. Like I said, if he wants to sign for the minimum, and he can compete with Mason for number 2 spot.
You are funny.
That's fine.
You are funny.
He might have to wait 2 or 3 years to get his whole franchise QB thing going.
2 or 3 years?
If he signed with us, yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, man, I don't really have much to say about it because, well, I guess I have said some stuff, but we don't know. We have no clue. And In terms of just him passing the ball, I mean, looks pretty good, I guess.
Looks pretty good. I mean, he throws dimes.
He does. That's what I mean. I watched some preseason
You just
tape.
tried to take a crap on him. He throws pretty good. No, bro, he throws dimes. We've seen it. Small sample size, but he throws dimes.
Yeah, but
Run the ball.
Yeah, I saw.
Gives you a ton of options.
All right, and that's kind of.
And you've seen the success that Lamar Jackson just had this season. That's all I'm saying, man.
About to say that's what everyone's saying. This is where the league's moving. You got to have the mobile.
Come
QB.
on, man. They love Kyler Murray. You talk about Russell Wilson, how he's able to do things with his legs.
I mean, I hope he does the best thing for his career. I'm not a believer.
Fair enough, man.
I'm just not because people are saying, "Oh, he's the next Steve Young," or actually, Sean Payton said that
he could be. And Sean Payton's an offensive guru.
Give me a break, dude. I saw that throw that he made in the playoff game. It wasn't impressive.
Why are you hating?
The big one.
Why are you hating?
I'm not.
You are hating. That was the best throw made by a quarterback in Pittsburgh all season. Stop hating. Was it not? Stop hating, man.
It was underthrown, man.
Stop hating, bro. So what was our situation here then?
It was bad, but there was better throws. Mason had better throws than that.
All right, man.
Duck had one or two in the Browns game that were better. The Deontay one in the back of the end zone against the Cardinals, that was nice.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I came off as a hater. I can't stand.
Get it off your chest.
It might be more or less the media.
Get it off your chest.
I guess we're talking about it because
get it off your chest, man. Do it, Deke. Get it off your chest, baby.
I just don't want to hear the hype. Just prove it to me. I don't want to hear I'm going to be the franchise QB. I guess he's just trying to bring his number up in free agency.
Which is smart. You don't want to hear the hype about that, but yet you believe in this hype about Ben just coming back next year as if nothing ever happened.
Yeah, because I'm creating the hype.
Oh man.
I'm the one creating the hype.
So as long as you created this spot.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I can dig it, man. You are funny, bro.
I mean, what else is there with him? Neither of us really know.
Nah, man, the thing is this though. I do think he could be a full-time quarterback just because when you see the things that Lamar Jackson is doing, people said, what about Lamar? He can't throw the ball. He just runs the ball. He could just run. Same thing about Taysom Hill. But we know with Taysom, he can do a lot more than just throw. He can run. You can also use him in some of the receiving situations. The creativity that you can use him for.
But that's not franchise QB, though. If you're doing all those extra things.
So is Lamar Jackson a franchise QB? Do they not do all those things with Lamar?
They don't put him at receiver.
The only difference would be, okay, if it's in a traditional offense with a wildcat, they line the guy at the receiver and they just don't look his direction. This is now you have to look his direction because he's a legit threat. It's another element to it.
Yeah, but who are they putting? You would have to have someone
Pickens.
but you would have to have someone that could legit throw.
What do you mean?
Like if you're doing a wildcat with just two running backs, he becomes way less of a threat at receiver.
So who? Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank.
Unless you're gonna say like LT, he can make like a little pass. Danny Tomlinson, he used to be able to.
No, AB can throw the ball. Remember,
that's what I mean. If you can have someone that could throw a little 10-yard pass and be accurate with it.
It wasn't Diggs. Gosh, was it Diggs? No, I'm drawing a blank. It was another receiver this year that threw a nice, beautiful touchdown pass, bro. Dudes are athletes, man.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to major at it. You're just trying to give it a wrinkle. That's all I'm saying, man. But he can do that.
You know, I'm not a wildcat guy.
Yeah, because you were hating on Lamar Jackson all season. I remember. As he won the MVP.
No, I wasn't, man.
You were. It's cool.
I wasn't hating on Lamar Jackson.
It's cool.
All I said was just to see it in the playoffs. I said he was MVP. He had a good year.
It's cool.
Good year.
All I'm saying is what makes Taysom Hill different than Lamar?
Lamar has shown me, and he's a way better runner.
How do you figure? Lamar's more elusive, but Taysom has more power. Taysom runs through people. Yeah. We've seen that multiple times. Don't say speed because both of them are 4.3 guys.
Dude, Lamar just ran for, what was it, 1,100, 1,200 yards?
Yeah, because Lamar has got his opportunity.
Yeah, so I know what I got in Lamar. I don't know.
Yeah, but you didn't know that prior to this season. If he never got that opportunity, you wouldn't have known that.
True.
So all I'm saying is, what have you seen from Taysom to make you think, oh, this can't work, when every time he's been on the field, he's in the action. Every time he's on the field, it's positive plays happening.
But is that franchise QB, though? Is there a
Because
reason?
you think traditional why do you think franchise QB he has to throw the ball 40 times?
I'm not thinking that. No.
When you think franchise QB, you think Ben, you think Brady. You don't think Lamar Jackson.
But I just said Lamar Jackson, yes.
But no, you weren't thinking Lamar. When you traditionally think franchise QB, you're like, but that's not franchise QB.
But I would have said Vic, though.
Okay. What I'm saying is, as a franchise QB, you don't think Taysom Hill can run the same style of offense that Lamar Jackson is running right now?
We haven't seen it.
Well, we've seen it. Small sample size, but we've seen it. He plays a lot of snaps for the Saints on offense, man. A lot. It's not just he only gets 5 snaps on offense. No, he's if it's 100% this night, he's going to see about 30% of them on offense.
Why wasn't it the case then? Why isn't he in that position right now?
What do you mean?
To where someone has signed up for him to be a franchise QB.
Well, he can't right now. He's a restricted free agent.
No, I get that, but how come someone didn't bring him on outside of the Saints?
Because the Saints had already brought him in. That's the thing.
Right.
So he hasn't had the opportunity. This is his first time getting that opportunity. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Man. It's his first chance to test the market.
We don't know, but I'm just betting on him not being one. That's all.
Okay. Who in doubt just hate? I can dig it, baby. I like it.
I don't want to hear it,
though, bro.
Dude, I don't want to hear it. Show me. That's all.
Unless you're creating the drama, right?
Exactly. Unless I'm bringing some hype.
I can dig it, baby. I can dig it.
I'm just trying to think who have I brought hype to this year or recently?
Duck.
I need to be more sensitive to who I bring hype to. Deontay, we can say Deontay. I was high on him in training camp.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay. If you say so.
If I say so, I go back to the tape. I know we made a little clip of that.
If you say so, bro.
We go check the IG for that.
Also, if you say so, man. Because now you about to try to put the Deontay Johnson. I think he could be a good player compared to, Duck's the guy. Duck got the it factor. Two totally different conversations, but it's cool.
Just for this year, dude.
Nah,
just
man,
for this year.
Say, whatever you say.
Okay. I've been a hater too. I've hated on Tannehill.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. The list goes on and on about the quarterbacks you hated on.
I think those two, that's definitely valid, though. Those are valid criticisms, though, too.
If you say so.
Josh Allen.
If you say so, man. You're funny.
Well, I mean,
you did hate on Russell Wilson for a while, too, this year.
What?
Remember, we was like, yo, would you take Russell Wilson? You're like, bro, nah, man. He ain't top this. He ain't top that.
Well, we were comparing to Brady.
This season.
For the playoffs.
And we're saying this season.
Well.
And it proved this season who was a better quarterback this season. And you just kept saying, just wait on it. Just wait on it. And we kept waiting. And we kept waiting. And we still waiting. Yeah, we still waiting right now.
Brady's team sucked, dude. I'm just telling you, Brady hasn't. What you could say he's lost it from whenever he was 32. Yeah, bro, maybe take a step back. I don't think he's taken that far a step back these past 5 years.
I don't even care, bro. All I'm saying is, as of right now, Russell Wilson's the better quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I could say that, but I'm still saying Brady. Dude, we'll see what happens this year. What team he has, because he's just one of those guys you don't count out. That's all.
Yeah. Keep believing it. I'm with you, bro. Just keep believing it. But yeah, man.
I think we covered it all here.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a little fun little convo, man.
It was.
Shout out to the ex, baby. All love, man.
Man, I can't believe you brought that up again.
So like I said, it was good convo.
I appreciate it, man.
Good, man. Appreciate the listeners. Appreciate the viewers, man. Definitely keep enjoying it. Also, no pod next week, man.
Yeah.
Take a little hiatus.
Vacation.
A little vacay. So, not this week, but we'll holler at you next week. The following week, all right? Yeah. So, y'all stay out of trouble, man. Enjoy your Valentine's Day. Enjoy all that other stuff that y'all do. Yeah. And until next time.
Peace.